Welcome to Doggo.jl, your home for wholesome Julia tutorials. Functions are the principal building blocks of programs because they allow the programmer to take advantage of the concepts of abstraction and decomposition. Abstraction means that the user of the function doesn't need to know how the function works in order to use it. And decomposition means that the programmer can break up a large program into a collection of smaller functions, making software easier to write, debug, and maintain. Println and typeof are examples of functions that come included with Julia. As a user, you don't need to know how these functions work in order to use them. And you don't need to recreate these functions every time you want to use them. But as a budding software developer, the real power of functions is that you can create your own custom functions, either for yourself or for others. This definition is from the Julia documentation. In Julia, a function is an object that maps a tuple of argument values to a return value. Let's take a look at an example. I'm in VS Code and I've already created a new .jl file. I've also launched the Julia REPL by using Alt-J, then Alt-O. To create a function, use the code block function end. Before hitting Shift-Enter, let's talk about this code. After the word function is the function name, immediately followed by a pair of parentheses, just like a tuple. Inside of the tuple are the function parameters, separated by commas. In between the words function and end is the body of the function. By default, the function returns the last line of code that is evaluated. In this example, the name of the function is myAdd. When naming functions, use the same naming convention for variables by using lowercase letters. This function maps the values for x and y to the expression x plus y, and then evaluates x plus y, and then returns the value of x plus y. Now hit Shift-Enter to see what happens. What just happened is known as declaring and defining a function. In some programming languages, declaring and defining a function are two separate steps. But in Julia, declaring and defining a function happen at the same time. All you really did was make this code available in memory so that Julia can use it at some point in the future. I'll explain what generic function with one method means in the next chapter. To use this function, type in the function name, immediately followed by a pair of parentheses, and enter two numbers separated by a comma, just like a tuple. And then hit Shift-Enter. Next to the code, you'll see the return value of 3, which is the same as 1 plus 2. What just happened is known as calling a function. In Julia, the first time you call a function, Julia will find the function definition in memory and then compile that code into something that's machine readable. You may not have noticed it in this simple example, but with more complex functions, you may notice a slight delay the first time you call a function. That's because Julia compiles the function definition code the first time you call the function, and not when you declare and define it. The next time you call that function, there won't be a delay. The other thing to point out here is when you call a function, the inputs to the function are referred to as arguments. But when you declare and define a function, the inputs are referred to as parameters. This can be confusing, so in practice, many coders use the terms parameters and arguments interchangeably when it comes to functions. Within the Julia community, the term parameter often means something different. So when it comes to declaring, defining, and calling functions, the term argument is used for the function inputs. That's probably more information than you need to know, so let's change subjects. In addition to using the function end block of code, you can declare and define a function in Julia using a shorthand form that looks closer to the form that you may have seen in math class. In this example, the name of the function is the lowercase letter f. This function f takes two arguments, a and b. Julia maps these arguments to the expression, which is from the Pythagorean theorem, to calculate the length of the hypotenuse c of a right triangle given the lengths of the two sides a and b. After evaluating this expression, this function will return the value of this expression. Let's call this function to see what happens. This function returns the value 5, which is the length of the hypotenuse of a right triangle with sides of lengths 3 and 4. Pretty cool, right? In general, the concept of functions is common to most programming languages, but each programming language has their own way of implementing functions. It is at this point that the various programming languages begin to diverge. Until now, the subjects covered in most of the previous chapters are common to many other programming languages. But starting from here, you'll begin to see some of the features that differentiates Julia from other languages. So that's the basics of using a function in Julia. In the next chapter, you'll learn what multiple dispatch is and how to use it in Julia.